there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my November TBR, but before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. So my November TBR has 5 books on it, and hopefully I can get to all 5. I actually am taking a graduate course currently. If this is your first time visiting my channel, first off, welcome. But if you did not know, I am a middle school teacher and I graduated with my master's degree last December, and I'm currently working towards my master's plus 30 credit hours. So the way that my district works is that if you get 30 additional graduate credit hours in addition to your master's, you actually get a pay raise. So I am currently working towards that. It will take a couple of years, but that's okay. So I'm currently taking a class, and then the follow-up classes in the spring, and that will go towards my plus 30 credit hours, but it will also give me an endorsement on my current teaching certificate. So all of that saying that I do not have as much time to read because this class takes about 8 hours a week for me to do the reading and the assignments and all of that. So that takes away reading time for me, unfortunately. But I still am going to put 5 books on my TBR because I do have a little bit of time off around the Thanksgiving holiday season, so that's good. So let's go ahead and just get on into the TBR because I've been rambling for a while now. So the first book is a rollover from October, and that is The Vampire Lstat by Anne Rice. So I'm currently reading this, and I'm on page 230. I'm not sure what percentage I'm done. I want to say probably 35% because this book is set up into sections, and there's individual sections, chapters within the sections. So I'm on part 4, chapter 3 as of right now. So I read Interview with the Vampire, or I reread Interview with the Vampire last year, and I hadn't read it since I was a teenager, and it's still one of my favorite books of all time. I will link my review up in the cards if you want to check it out. So I picked this book up because it definitely fits the October season, and it is slow going, and Anne Rice is a dense writer, but overall I am enjoying slowly going through Lestat's story, and it did kind of pick up currently where I'm at because he meets Armand for the first time, and we know Armand from Interview with the Vampire, so we're kind of seeing, you know, some new dimensions to Armand. So I'm enjoying it. It just is a slow, dense read, so I will definitely be finishing this in November. The next book is a reread for me, and that is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. And the reason that I am rereading this book is because I picked up the sequel Locklands when it came out last year, and it had been so long since I read Foundry Side and the sequel Shorefall that I could remember nothing of the plot, and specifically nothing of the magic system. And the magic system drives the plot so much of this series that I knew I was going to not enjoy reading the book if I couldn't remember all of the little details that make up the plot and make it so good. And I actually read this book, I believe, at a time when I wasn't doing booktube. I did take a year off at one point, so I don't have any reviews for the first 2 books in the series for you guys. So I feel like now's a good time to start my reread of this so I can review the whole series for y'all and every single book and really give you an updated opinion. But this is an adult fantasy series, and from what I remember, it follows a girl named Sansia, and Sansia is a thief, and she has been commissioned to steal this magical artifact. In this world, merchant houses control the world, and the way the magic system works is that people can inscribe things with this magical code, and it gives these objects sentience, and they use this magic to control the economy and the capitalism of this world. However, there is more to this artifact that Sansia is supposed to steal than she realizes. It is actually an artifact that harbors a lot of secrets, and using it could change the entire world as everyone knows it. So like I said, this will be a reread for me, and I do remember bits and pieces of the book, and I'm sure things will come back to me as I'm getting through it, and I'm super excited to be revisiting this world and this magic system and these characters because I remember it was a lot of fun and really entertaining and definitely fast-paced. Next, I want to continue with my read through the Transformation trilogy, so I'm going to be picking up book 2, which is Break Her by Cassie Alexander. I read Bend Her over summer. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, dark romance, and if I'm not mistaken, it is self-published. But I do have a full review for the first book, so I'll link that up in the cards for you guys. I'm just making sure it's self-published. I'm pretty sure it is. It is, yeah. So these are self-published. And I kind of picked the first book up on a whim from Amazon. If y'all didn't know, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale of all time, and I'm always looking for a good retelling, and I really enjoyed the first book. There's a little bit of spin on the story because we are following our Beauty, who is actually a princess, and her father essentially sold her to the Beast without her knowing. She thinks she was kidnapped. Sold her to the Beast in exchange for the Beast's help fighting this war. And the only reason he agreed to help is because he has seen the princess in his dreams and she is or has murdered him. And our Beast is a wizard, and wizards are actually able to see the thing that they will die from. So when the king reaches out to him offering his daughter, the Beast takes her because he knows that she's going to murder her. So he wants to try and mitigate that. But then we learn that our princess might have magical abilities, and he starts to train her in these magical abilities. So the first book was definitely entertaining enough, and these books are really quick to read. So this one's actually shorter than Bend Her, and the type or the font is a little bit bigger than normal, and it's like fairly spaced out. So definitely a quick read, and it'll be fun to dip my toes back into some romance. Next, we have The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. I just got this book. This is Brandon's Secret Project number 4 book, and I do have an unboxing video for this book, so I'll leave that up in the cards for y'all. But I really was intrigued by this book because it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got sprayed edges, and the plot sounds really, really fun. But in this book, we are following a man named Nomad, and Nomad is fleeing across different planets because he is trying to evade certain problems that he has, and he ends up coming to this world called Canticle. Unfortunately, Canticle is dealing with its own problems because there is this sunrise that is very lethal and will melt essentially anything in its path. Somehow, Nomad finds himself embroiled in the power struggle of the different factions of this world, so now he is trying to navigate that as well as deal with some people that are pursuing him as he was fleeing from his own problems. So definitely sounds like an interesting concept, an interesting world, and I'm excited to be reading Brandon Sanderson once again. And lastly, we have a classic book because I realized that I don't think I've read one classic this entire year, which is embarrassing because I really do enjoy classics and I own quite a few of them. So I'm gonna try and get to The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. The only other book I've read by Edith Wharton has been Ethan Frome, and that is a very short book, and it was tragic and beautiful, and I loved it, but it was depressing. But in this book, we are following a girl named Lily, and Lily lives in New York among the wealthiest people that you can imagine. This book was published in 1905, so it is the people who own and operate the railroads and all of the very wealthy socialites of that time period. Lily is 29 years old and she's still unwed, and she is just looking for a husband to settle down with. She definitely wants a husband who can appeal to her luxurious lifestyle and satisfy all of her materialistic cravings as well as some other cravings. And unfortunately, Lily ends up being accused of being the mistress of this very, very wealthy man. I don't know if the accusation is accurate or not, but regardless, the rumors caused Lily to be excluded from high New York society. So now Lily is forced to kind of deal with the aftermath of that and navigate this new life. So it sounds like a book that is going to address different social issues of the time period, especially those that women had to deal with, and probably the disparity between the classes in America at that time. So it'll be interesting to kind of compare, things that went on in the early 1900s to 2023. So I'm excited to get to this one as well. All right, you guys, that is it for my November TBR. Let me know in the comments some books that you are reading or if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. And I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye.